I went to a gynecologist once when I was, how old would I have been at that time? I was probably like 38, 39. And you know, nothing we feel free to do in this country, like to talk about your reproductiveness. Your reproductive.
Oh, yes. If you're not a baby and if you're not this and you're not that and all the things. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember when I went to the gynecologist, she she was asking me about my career and stuff, which I was very proud of. And she was like, okay, um, just be mindful that you're not truly a woman until you've had kids. And
A gynecologist said that out loud?
yeah,
Oh,
because you know that,
wow.
and it actually gave me an opportunity in speaking to doctors after that. And she wasn't coming from a place of malice or stuff. She thought
No,
she was
I think she sounded
advising
pretty,
me
yeah, I think she
perfectly.
sounded like she was pretty
And
matter of fact
exactly.
about it.
And you know, I said, you know, that just to remember too that when we present ourselves, you also don't know what's going through our heads, but we can't undermine that all of us have different paths and different
Yeah.
journeys. We can't do that. So I had to experience those things, experience when we go down a country and one of my cousin them who probably have like 9 kids, and she was like, so you don't have any children? And I said, no, here no. Oh God, your life must be sad. I remember
Wow.
my auntie was like, you hear yourself because she is like one of my warriors. She jump in.
Are you hearing yourself speak?
It's like sad, sad. She looks sad to you. But we actually we do not allow women to be accomplished across spheres. And there's always, I find that one of the biases we have is that it's like you have to like have this, your body have to ready, your ear have to look good, you have to have children that are bright and awesome. The husband have to body look good. You have to sexy. You have to sex. You have to do. It's like, it's how many things are we supposed to be amazing at?
All of it, all the time. All of it, I mean, all the time.
Every single day, everything.
Every day.
And if you know, again, it is like there's this long list of things. It's a long list of things that we have to be amazing at, or else we have failed. And even after you have the children, oh, are you working still? Well,
you take care of your husband.
I mean, it's all of these things. It's what a piece of pressure. So when I turned 40 now, that was blissful, because when you turn 40 and you don't have any children, you hear them now. Well, you have only the dog there. You have the dog. If anything, you can find a little one for adopt and so. But them is like, well, you're done far on that journey there. So
yes.
Continue with it as you were. Continue with trying to accomplish the career, because nothing. So they nobody have a conversation. They just go.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, then there's Christian. I had Christian a month after I turned 45 years old.
Wow.
And I will share this with you that when we started, you mentioned something. So when you're over body and you get pregnant, it's like when you're 16 and get pregnant. You're like, what's supposed to happen to my life now? I mean,
because I was like, I mean, the conversations around, and I'll tell you from where I'm sitting now, I'm in a new love relationship, and this is the relationship. Like, is this our better? So if this is not the love relationship, then I can't even imagine what the next level is. And it took me a minute and a lot of suffering to get to this experience. You know, I have this saying now that my destination is delicious. And I just want to keep having delicious experiences. And it evolved out of my love experience that I'm now having, because I feel like I have fully stepped into a relationship that allows me to understand what having a spiritual love partner actually means. You know, and I feel like I am the woman to have this relationship, not you know, I was a little girl still when I was 23 and married with a child. I was not fully Stacy, you know, I hadn't stepped into myself. And like, I would love to have his baby, just based on just based on who we are being together, and our consciousness, our level of consciousness and awareness, and being able to create from that space is just like, ooh, what would a kid be like in this, you know? But girl, we got 5 kids between the two of us. He's got 3. He's got 2 and I have 3, you know, so we're actively blending and learning what that experience is about. But what was most impactful in having the conversations with people around me, especially with my breast cancer history and, you know, all of those things that happened, it's not even in the cards for me. It's just a bad idea. It's a bad health idea. It's, oh my gosh, your age. And, you know, you have this, it's just, there's so many judgments and labels and contexts that are layered on top of what's none of your business.
Why is my womb your business? It's my womb. Why is it your business?
So, it is my uterus, mine, you know? And so I found myself actually at the effect of that, and really maybe more killing what was probably blossoming into a dream of sorts, because I became now just at the effect of all the different things that were being thrown around, to the point where I even said to my partner, I was like, you know, if we get pregnant, we're going to move to a different country, because I don't want any of the so you know, Jamaican people stay away still, you know, Rochelle. We stay away, honest to God. We stay away. So I was so inspired by your story of having Christian, and you know, where you and your husband made that decision to be fully committed to that process and that experience. I think it's beautiful.
But you know, the thing is that I wouldn't say that I had given up, but it wasn't something that was like major on my list. In fact, I have been a part of so many children's lives. I have like 9 god kids, and I'm a very involved godmother. I'm like all up in everything. And I remember Hilary Phillips, who is one of my mentors, and I really look up to her. We had a conversation about it, and she said, you know, Rosh, some of us choose our careers and it's a decision and it's fine. And in choosing, we also choose to be a different kind of mother, meaning we didn't birth, but we are participating in raising children, but also showing them through even our own lives what is possible.
Yeah.
And she's always like, we discount the village, this just melting pot that is the village. And she's like, some of us are the auntie that everybody really wants to be. Like, she's so hot. And so even, you know, one of the things is during my pregnancy, I didn't do gender reveal. I was 44. What am I doing a gender reveal for? I remember my gynecologist, who is amazing, Dr. Rochelle Gibson. She was like, you know, after do something with a test. Holy butters. So when one of the tests them come in, she called me and she said, call and ask what the results. She's like, normally people call like, has it gone? Them call to ask. We just have wait for your part from me. Every part of the journey is a whole other set of doubts that come in your mind of what will happen. And she said she's reading through the thing and she's like, oh, it's a, and then I was like, it's a what? And she said, you're not doing a gender reveal. I'm like, we look, we have a gender to talk about. But I didn't make it a whole social media montage. And people are like, but I saw you. And they were like, you were on stage. And I said, yeah, but thank God I looked good. And I dressed well for the part. But I said, you don't even know what's going through people's minds. That each month that you make it through, and I had a very smooth pregnancy, like very uneventful. Thank you, Jesus. But it was almost like it was a very spiritual journey for me, because if ever I was connected to God, I mean, every step of the way, I'm like, Lord, take us through this week. And so as I watch people unveil pregnancies and stuff, I said, we don't talk about the other parts of it. We don't talk about, when you're wondering if you're feeling any kicks as you're reaching towards the end, and that when I was induced, because he's actually born on his due date. So my water had broken and I had gone to the hospital and I walked in and the nurse was like, they were having like a nurses meeting or something. And I was like, hey, I'm here to check in. My doctor said I should come down. And she's like, check in for what? So I said, I'm pregnant. She said, oh, with what? I said, miss. And she said, when are you due? And I said, today. She's like, are you sure about this? Said, yeah, because I really didn't look and I was moving well and stuff. So can you imagine? No, I did look good, my skin looked good, everything throughout, Wow. And I get the water has broken and then they induce me. And Stacey, the pick me heartbeat just starts to drop every time I have a contraction. First thing, the contraction had the hottest thing ever.
Yes.
Let me tell you, this what I'm sitting at is so hot, it is indescribable. And I think you get amnesia after.
They do forget. You have to forget.
I'm just like, how would anybody go
you
and
can't
on a multiple occasion?
No, yeah. I have 3 and it's hot every time.
No. So I remember when I was there and I said, God, there's no way. I know you would not take me this far to leave me here. And I'm literally swinging out of the bed, go down to the operating theater because I'm like, we got to get moving. Got to get moving. And I remember the sound of his cry, how it was just the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. And I was like, oh my, this is like a miracle. You're here. And when he come out with his little miserable face, him still like a miserable cry, and I was like, you would not know how this sound is music to my ears. But I say this to say that, one, we have a way of discounting women after certain ages, all the things we cannot do.
Like start a business.
I mean, there's so many things we can't give birth to after certain ages.
Oh, that's good.
So many things.
That's good.
And when and social media, because social media is great, it exposes us to a lot, but it can also, if you don't have a strong mindset and are not fixated on your own purpose, cause you to feel lack, like, look at that person. And sometimes you lose track of what your actual vision is for your life. And I just think, every time I think that God chose me for this child at this stage, and I'm not going to lie to anybody, I don't think I was ready for a child before this. I was not. No, I am ready and loving it. I am yearning for this whole new process of growth for myself too, as I am able to watch him grow. I'm able to release, my own ways of how things a person should be and
Should be.
allow him to be himself. But a lot of that comes from my own experience. And I'm like, there must be a reason why God chose me at this stage in my life for this child. And to allow that to blossom. So it's been an amazing experience. And at first I was like, what's the story behind that? But there's so many women that will reach out to me and they're like, tell me how that really did go. Like it did. And what was that like? And I always say to them, it's just like a 16-year-old getting pregnant. Yeah. The first thing, the amount of people that like you have to shut out the little things that people that are like, well, you may not make it. It may not make it. So because
oh my God.
And one of the things that I did admire about my obstetrician is when I had gone to her the first time, her thing for me was like, but you're a young man, look how you're fit.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Yeah.
That's what you need. And them say drink water and mind your business.
Business, yes.
Like maybe if we focused a little more on our business and not on one hand congratulating and on the other hand we tearing down. Why we love tear down people so much? Why we always have a story of why the thing cannot work? Suppose it could work. Make we try to make it work. Yes. So it really has been a journey. And it's funny. I say all the time that you head all kinds of things and coordinate teams and lead on things. And this Lily pick me, eat him the food and him turn him back, turn him back and put up him hand. Just like the amount of times I used to say to myself, if I had a child, how these people like, how them don't eat this and that, you better eat what I give you.
Yeah.
And I go and find something else for him to eat. So it's humbling. It's humbling going to preschool and knowing that you're one of the old moms.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I saw me bouncing like me at 26.
I know that's right, girl.
I'm just like, so that has been, but the core of, I think, the lesson of Christian for me is do not give up on birthing your ideas, on birthing your dreams. We are never too old to birth our dreams and to be pregnant with purpose and promise. Yeah. And the person who discounts us the most is ourselves. That we already kill our own dreams with all the reasons it can't work. But if we were to make ourselves available for it to work, or not to work exactly how we want it to, but that we have now a life lesson and we've created some new doors for ourselves, just make ourselves available to be the vessel. And it's now that I understand that, like, your children are a gift to you for the purpose that, not for your purpose, but the purpose that God has them for. And my mother, I think, was way before her time in understanding how you empower a child to, no matter how they're shaking, their knees are shaking, you just keep hearing in the back of your head when she's saying to you, because sometimes I want to get ready for that event, I'm going to take my picture. And she said, Yala. She said, Rochelle, take a picture again. Send me a video. She said, me never seen nobody look good so yet.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so nice.
She will listen to stuff that I've done and she's like, my. She said, I'm proud of myself. Mm-hmm. She said, me look at me, say, I might be that. Yeah. And she does that both with myself and my brother. And I'm like, after my mother can equip me like that, how am I not giving birth to these ideas, the purpose that I know that I have. Say, I do not want to leave this earth with anything on my plate. I don't want to leave with anything. You know, sometimes like you get a plate of food and in the midst of it, you barely get a little food because sometimes your eye is kind of bigger than the plate where you can eat. Sometimes you have to like put it in the fridge a little bit, wrap it up and microwave it and stuff, but you need to finish what is on your plate. And don't focus on who have a chicken leg over there. Focus on what's on your plate. And sometimes too, that plate is empty because it's emptied so we can fill it for the next phase of our life. You know, there's no tool. Like we set these boundaries of age, of time, that only boundary of time really, the only boundary of time is when we pass away, Stacey. But you see, every minute of breath that we have, when I read your story of your breast cancer diagnosis and even how you changed through that process and how you redefined yourself through that process and how literally you're like, I'm going back to the buffet line.
Yeah.
I want some more.
Yeah, give me more.
More, you know? And I think it is important because we are a generation of women that we haven't gotten it all right, but we can't leave and never like did go hard at trying to make that difference for the generation to come, to show to what can be done, what is possible.
Yes.
What is possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, Rochelle, I don't know how we manage this now because we're literally at the top of the hour. But I do still want to ask you about that bliss side. You've dropped so many gems today. I'm like, this is gonna be the hardest interview to edit. Come have to pull out. No, pull out. Okay, let's make this the feature. Let's make that the feature. But with such, I mean, your journey, you need to write a book. Let's just say that. You know, you really should. I'm inviting you into the author space. You really should write a book. Like a proper book.
Yeah, a proper book, yeah.
Not a pamphlet, a proper book. Right? And in doing so, I think yours, because I say I love to write, even though I crab too. I think your story is so profound that it's that concept of availability and being open and curious, you know, is one that is so necessary today because there are so many constructs, way more constructs now than, you know, when we were growing up, just way more constructs.
Exactly.
And so with that in mind, you know, sharing this story, I think is really powerful. Now with all of this happening, your life is so big and so full. How do you find time for yourself? Where is your bliss? Do you get away? Like, you got a 2-year-old girl, you ain't going no place. Like, what you doing? How is the skin staying? And you say I step on cleanse. Like, what are you doing? How are you doing?
Other cleanse. Okay. No, and you know, you said it earlier about balance. And the other day I was having a long conversation with Naomi about balance. And I'm like, what is balance though? What is balance? And balance is literally in physics like staying upright, you know, staying steady. So I'm more focused in how I maintain a level of steadiness, and a level of steadiness will come to that I have to make certain choices of what is going to matter at particular times. Richard is 2 years old, so a lot of focus is on him. So even when I talk about self-care and stuff, you know, not again, all of the pressure from women, it's a pressure, we have pressure, we pressure this and pressure that. The truth is that I cannot just jump off and go off because it takes a lot of planning around a toddler. Yes. It does. Yes. It doesn't mean that I don't go off. Long before self-care was, I think, you know, say, I was reading Rachel Rogers' book, We Should All Be Millionaires.
Be millionaires.
And what I love about it is that the whole chapter on self-care and getting your hair cut, getting your nails done. I'm like, Jamaican women got that a long time.
Oh my gosh. Like, that's where I learned. I didn't even realize that was a self-care thing. I just thought that was a part of it. Like, ain't that what you're supposed to do?
I'm like, okay, that's okay. So I treasure now, because there is so much activity, just a moment of calm, just silence. I've been reading a lot about meditation. So, like I've said, I'm gonna take up the meditation something. I'm gonna read about it. I remember that book, oh my gosh, Eat, Live, Pray, Eat, Love, Pray. Pray, Love, that one. Where she said, like, she's doing the meditation, and in the middle of the meditation, like 100 thoughts are going through her mind. I'm like, that's me. This is me. Close my eyes. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need something about it. Yeah. So I said, you know what? A couple of things. One, I am not a morning person. I'm not.
That's interesting.
I'll stay up till morning, but I'm not a morning person. I'm not super pleasant in the morning, and I like to ease into my morning. So I can meet with you at 8 o'clock in the night, 9 o'clock in the night and stuff. Night is like I'm on fire, and some of my best ideas come there. And like morning people, I always like admire them because they have this like morning vibe about them. Morning vibe.
It's the coffee.
This morning vibe. So I'm talking to a friend the other day, and she's like, you know what? We all can't be morning people. She's not a morning person either. She's like, who's going to be like up in the night if everybody's a morning person? So I'm okay with that. And I've come to grips with that maybe my zone of genius is at a different time. That's one. Two, I always have like a million things going through my head. I do. I don't know. It's just like a lot of tabs open. So one of the things that I have gotten back into, I've had to ask myself, where do you find just peace, where your brain shuts down for a moment? And because I'm not seeking no additional activity, I need some quiet time. Sometimes I just need to be quiet.
Yeah.
And I love plants. I love orchids. And after Christian was born, I was a little neglectful with them. I didn't pay as much attention. But now I have this time and space of even just watering them and spending time with them, that I will listen to a meditation. I will listen to a devotional, or I will not listen to anything. I'll just stand up and I will water the plants. And sometimes when the day gets stressful, I just walk outside with them, and they don't expect anything of me. They just are kind of like, hey girl, look at you, yeah. And just for a moment, I watch an orchid spike, and I watch it over days and weeks spiking, and I see things in nature that are just so amazing. Like the other day we did some repotting of orchids, and there is a particular set of orchids that we moved. Orchids by Trisha, she's amazing, walking in her purpose with them orchids. So she's like, bro, she have all of these files, we're going to create some tree file thing. And somebody said, do your thing, man. Or sometimes you have to like hand over to our next expert.
Yes.
And make them bring it back. And she moved it to a tree, and Stacey, like immediately, the orchid started spiking. It has 4 spikes on it now. And I have not seen this orchid bloom in like 4 years. Wow. And it's just like with people, that sometimes our spatial reference needs to be changed. We need a little bit more light. We need to come out of that corner a little bit and get a little bit more light. And we will surprise ourselves with how we will spike and how we will bloom. And there were some that we just repotted. Sometimes the medium you're in, the space that you're being held in, isn't allowing your roots to flourish.
Oh, yes.
That's
right.
And sometimes that bark and stuff have to be removed and some fresh ones put in. But you still, because you weren't able to get the full fervor of the light, because your roots were being stifled. And I in this space of quiet, we come back to, it's my come back to time. Sometimes I have some things when we need to talk to the Lord about. I'm out there, me and him talk. I could have looked at what it could have looked funny if I look at me from afar. It could be looking
right. Call somebody.
Yeah, quickly. So self-care for me now is a lot about tending to my mental space, recognizing overwhelm, recognizing when rest is necessary and being willing to take it. So as part of my self-care is accepting help, being able to know that I'm not super mom on TV. I'm not that. I am just trying to get through. And sometimes he will just wake up at 3:30 and want to play with me.
Good morning.
Hello. And I'm just like, you remember you don't work, sorry. Like, you take a nap. So I say this to say that, you know, sometimes as we define self-care, we have to recognize where we are at that particular time in our life. What's the care that we need? And for me, it's a lot more about managing my mental health space. And recognizing that that you can work yourself into an exhaustion that depletes you from serving, that the very thing that you love doing, you cannot even deliver on it because you are so exhausted. I have to stop to listen to my body more. I don't like to work out either. So I tell you the whole thing, I'm not a morning person, but don't like work out. But let me tell you, I love to look good.
Yes, I'm very clear about that.
Love to look
so,
good.
Oh yeah, manage the no workout part with the love.
Girl. So the struggle has been real. I'm gonna get one trainer, but like sometimes I just like hide him out and then sometimes I'm busy. I'm busy time, morning, afternoon, all kind of thing and all kind of combinations, and it wasn't working. But also when you know, admittedly are a little vain, sometimes you start like me put on one bad suit the other day. I never look good. I did not look good. I never look good. Me never look good. Yeah. I'm gonna say, wow, girl, wow, sir.
It's a 40 thing. There's a 40 thing, you know. There's something that is happening now, right as you become that other woman, because I do believe that we are heading into, well, I'm 46 now, and I'm heading into my second womanhood, which starts at 50. And one of my nutritionist slash Oberman tells me that it's my second childhood. He knows I'm approaching my second childhood. And I can appreciate that because I do feel like there's a new person coming. I had the same body experience when I put on this Batty Rider shorts to go to my daughter's pool party. Put on my jean shorts, come like a pool. And I walk, there's a very big mirror closet right outside my bedroom. So I got dressed and everything inside my bedroom, inside my bathroom with mirror and everything. And I walked out past the mirror and something catch my eye corner. Like his hoofa legs them that. What them dimple something there. So I turn around like the shock. Like I'm wondering who was in the reflection.
That person.
And I stood in front of the mirror and I'm like,
what happened?
It's like I wake up and I have a 40 plus woman's body. And it's not J-Lo. I'm just saying. Yeah.
You know, and it is that you don't accept it. Because I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm not ready for this porridge. You know, how you look like, you know, something like them is looking very much like cold caramel porridge when it curdles. Is it? That's what it is, girl. That's what it is. What it is. So I hear the trainer, you know, he must say, what is my newest inspiration? He said, there's the way like you call to make sure I come in and ask. I was like, sir, it's called vanity. Just let me come back to my idea out again. But the other side of it is, I said to myself, I also have to make myself physically and mentally available for Christian for as long as God gives me with him. At no point should it be that because me now use up the knee, them I get too pumped and when I have the energy to run him down, to romp with him. So it was funny that that part of it has just really been on my mind, you know. How do you keep yourself in a state of fitness and readiness to run him down and thing? And, you know, even the other day we went somewhere, you know, sometimes children stand up with you very nicely. And then for no reason, why would you just run off? Where are you running to? Who you saw?
Who call you?
Who call you? And Stacey, I took off after it and grab it. And me hear some people are clap. One lady said, Mommy rocket. Listen. I could have been paying up after, you know. But let me tell you, listen to me. I'm gonna come like Shelly, you know, it's like I get one gold medal, you know. But I have to be able to do that. And you know, I want to take care of this body so that I have the energy to give birth to these dreams. I don't want I want to give it a fighting chance. Fighting chance. Because you remember what we're saying is that we're coming, it's like a little girl again. You feel like a little girl again. So you have to give her little girl with a ramp outside a little bit to get fresh air. So I think I am a lot more gentle with myself than even 5 years ago. I am kinder to even how I speak of myself and to myself. And I'm very mindful of what I speak over myself and how I focus my mind on on the possibilities and this abundant space that is my life, that once I have breath in it, that I can be contributing something that's bigger than me. So I know that I have changed significantly from how hard, because you know, sometimes when we're young and we're pressed through and we're going after the career and stuff, we're hard upon ourselves, you know, we judge ourselves harshly, very harshly. And I find that I'm so much kinder to Rochelle now. Sometimes I treat her like a little girl that just wants to be nurtured. And sometimes she has some awesome days where she's stepping and there's like a soundtrack and breeze. She's walking with her
wind. There's that natural, got that Beyonce breeze.
That Beyonce breeze is that she barely makes it out of bed. She's exhausted. She's not feeling herself. And that's all part of the cycle. But that I don't kick myself when I'm already down. I'm like, I don't need to be kicking myself. And one of the things, you know, I was talking to some young women the other day, and I was talking to them about the breeze, and they're like, Auntie, so when you don't feel your breeze, how you manage? Here, man, I'm a make breeze. I say sometimes I have to make breeze, you know. Sometimes I have to make breeze. Sometimes I'll just dress up to come downstairs in the office. We don't have no meeting or nothing, but we just come and dress up and come sit down in here and just get going. And it's this one time that we have, you know, this one life. And, you know, we can talk about all of the things that people have said and done and who has held us back, but we always have to hold ourselves accountable to what we have held ourselves back from, the joy we've held ourselves back from. And your self-care and my self-care will be very different. Sometimes the self-care I need is a strong devotion with some heap of hallelujah, some whole praise and worship. Let me need that. There's no clear definition of what that list looks like, but it's an awareness of what centers you again. And so me, when my nails don't look good, so when they talk about the self-care, I say, but so what you do when your nails don't look good? Like no, your nails have to look good. But if sometimes you go through a period of just a lot of busyness and you hear no, and you know your hair no when you hasn't been taking care of it, and it rebels and just will not set good. And then a photograph of yourself and you look mad, you just look away. So so, you know, even with that, you know, I ask myself at each stage now, and this has been, again, you say as you turn 40, a new girl emerges at that time. But what was self-care for me 10 years ago is not self-care.
Not the same thing now.
And I cherish just taking it down a notch sometimes, just slowing it all down and recentering, because sometimes when all the tabs are open, you can't even hear yourself think. And I always say, I know when I can't think, when I'm not thinking straight, is it's time for Rochelle to draw back. And sometimes self-care is a mental health day. I'm going to joke about mental health day. So the other day now, I take my mental health day. So me in my bed, I'm going to read, I'm in my picture, I'm my ear don't comb, I'm just look mashed, having a great time. Just, oh my gosh.
One of those days, feel
One
good.
of those days. Oh, you know those days.
Yeah.
And I get a call from somebody who asked me to just review a document from a board. So I was like, all right, I know it has a deadline, I'll take a look at it. But he's like, you sound like you sound a little busy. And I said, yeah, I'm taking a mental health day. So the silence that follows. I was like, hello, are you there? Are you there? It was like, when you finish making the submission and stuff, call me and we'll talk about it. And he said, tell me about that. Because he said, when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder what kind of medication should I on.
Yes, she admitted to Bellevue, like.
And I said to him, I said, when do you take any time for yourself to just veg out, to slow down a notch and stuff? And he said, he just did not think about it. And he says, right now, I feel burnt out. And he said, when I take vacation, I'm taking it to do something. There is an itinerary for it. And he says, it's just long time, I'm not stretch out, I'm just not have nothing to do. Here now, when you say mental health day, sound a little jarring though. And I said, you know what though? That's exactly what it is. It's a day I'm taking for my mental health. Yeah. My mental health. So that when you ask me to review it, I have the mental capacity to do it.
And it needs to be jarring because we don't actually pay any attention to it. And that's why half of us walking up out there anxious, depressed, burnt out, and not well.
And not well.
You know?
Not well.
I did that school. I did it. I wrote the book on it. Like literally. I have a podcast about it. Like, I mean, it's a thing, you know?
It's a very real thing. And sometimes even, when we think about, and which is why when I talk about bliss, for me at this stage, bliss is, sometimes there's this almost like a blanket of peace that comes over you, where I can say, Lord, I thank you for today. I thank you that I'm alive. And I'm going through and I can just list all the things that I'm grateful for. Because for a moment, because then the phone will go ring and then stress you out. But I take the peaceful moments. Sometimes I don't have an old peaceful day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'll take the peaceful 10 minutes. Sometimes we're expecting a peaceful week. You know what? Maybe we built into our days. And I now have in my calendar, I have a time slot in every working week, every day of every working week, what I put a moment to breathe and pray. So the calendar reminds me, just like it reminds me of everything else, but my Apple Watch would tell me that I'm not breathing, and I think it's so annoying. You know when it tells you that? Yes. And then it says take a minute to breathe, and I'm like, how long is this minute?
Yeah.
Minutes, 60 seconds. I'm like, get to it. breathing. But when I am mindful about just stopping for a moment and just centering, just stopping for a moment and centering, the productivity that I have in the days with just taking a moment, and it's like my moment that I've designated of just bringing peace back in.
Yeah.
And the conversations that follow, I am able to follow them without, that edge where you're like, are you to say something to me today?
Yes. Oh God.
Yeah, so that's good. Bliss is about that. And bliss is watching Christian and his own curiosity. with new things and gravel and dirt, and like you would just go play in the gravel and then just come wipe your hands on my pants.
Yeah, my white pants.
My white pants. And asking myself, you know, where did that curious child go that was Rochelle? So paying attention to my own curiosity again. So again, just bliss is a personal thing.
Yeah.
And it's a very, as you always say, intentional. Bliss is intentional, and intentional to you what you need. And sometimes what you need for the first half of the year as bliss is not what you need for the second half.
For the second half.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not fixed in stone.
Absolutely.
Everything we have that is one label on the product. This is how it must go. No, sometimes it's different. Because you know, sometimes the bliss is when you and the girls gather and tell the same story.
Yes, over and over again, and laugh about at the same jokes, and it just
crazy.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent. Wow. Boy, Rochelle, this chat has just been so wonderful for me. And, you know, I think more than anything else, it's really got me in that space of feeling delicious about my path. You know, I always talk about one of the reasons why I've kept the podcast going is because it's like therapy for me, you know, and I remember when I started the podcast in 2018, and it was the big lead up to launching into entrepreneurship in 2020. And so for the entire, I think it was like maybe the end of the first season going into the second season, I was talking about all my plans and, you know, I'm just ready. And then it was, you know, pandemic, and it was like, oh, a different thing, you know, and it was a different conversation, and it was a different discussion to have with people. And it became a different type of therapy, because now it wasn't me on this, the plan. It was me on this, okay, this didn't work, and I just want you to tell me about how you did it. So I spoke to a lot of entrepreneurs in that season, more so from a place of established businesses, like companies that had women led that grew significantly, or women who were in corporate and were really entrepreneurs because they came in and started new product lines or created new divisions, etc. And that was a source of therapy in that period, because it kept me and the dream of me in this new dispensation alive. And what I'm experiencing now in this season, all the recordings that I've been having so far has made me feel more like blossoming, you know, blooming where I am currently, not needing to know all the answers or have it figured out or have the perfect business plan or even have the funding, even have all the things that, you know, a strategist would want to make sure are in alignment, because you're in corporate for how long, you know what it's supposed to look like. And here you go doing all the other things, you know, right? And so talking to you, just like when you talked about the orchid, you know, that's essentially what this entire season is about. It's about blossoming. It's about being in bloom and what that looks like at its different stages. So I just really want to, you know, acknowledge and appreciate you for sharing your journey of blossoming and now being in bloom all over again, being in bloom as a new mom and being in bloom as a startup and entrepreneur. You know, I'm just really just grateful for you. So thank you for coming on.
And thank you for what you have been doing, because you could have looked the other way and said, let me leave that for somebody else. But you have also recognized that your journey, your story, your purpose is manifesting. I mean, and just to let you know, one of the things about you from I met you, even before you did the intention cards, and I don't even know if you remember this, you said to me, you're just like, Rochelle, we have to be intentional. Those dreams will have to be intentional. So when you came up with the intention cards, which I use every day, and watching what you have been doing, but there is, you don't know that some of us like watch how bold and fearless you are in your pursuit of new things, of creating new spaces. So I want to congratulate you for making yourself available for service, for sharing yourself, sharing your journey, and then bringing in others so that you're able to empower, because it's very powerful what you're doing. Very powerful.
Thank you so much. Gosh, haven't done that this season. Thank you so much for that. That's very humbling and also very affirming. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay, guys. If you know, you know. Thank you for joining this epic of the Balanced Lady Boss show. And I'm looking forward to sharing yet another episode next week with you all that have tuned in. Thank you.